Hello, joyful ones. Welcome to Choose Joyful Health. I'm Joan Craig, and today I am here with Beebe Kennedy, who is a skin care educator, and I'm so excited. Thank you, Beebe, for joining me today.
Thank you, Joan, for inviting me.
Yeah, well, most of us know that our skin is our largest organ. So, what we put on our skin is just like eating. And I've invited Beebe to help us learn about what products are good for us to put on, what things we need to avoid, and all of that education because it's such a deep, deep subject. So, we'll dive in. So, Beebe, tell us how you got into this field.
Actually, a friend of mine who I respect and who's, she's an educate. She's been in education her entire life. I found out she was doing Beautycounter, and I know she doesn't just do anything without researching. So I felt pretty confident that it was a good company, and so I joined her in the mission of educating and advocating for clean beauty with Beautycounter.
Well, and I didn't even mention Beautycounter to begin with. So, tell us what Beautycounter is.
We are actually, our name kind of is a symbol of what we do. We're countering the beauty industry to do better because not a lot of people realize the personal care industry is really underregulated when it comes to products and ingredients that are allowed in products. Our FDA here in the U.S. Really has no control or very little control over the industry. And there hasn't been a law passed since 1938 regulating that industry. And since then, there's been over 80,000 chemicals, and actually more than that, introduced into commerce.
So you're saying that the last law passed in the United States to regulate personal care products was in 1938. And we
1938.
know, I mean, everything that's changed in 80 years. It's
Right,
amazing.
right.
Wow. And so when you say personal care products, like that is, I don't know exactly what that defines and what's within that scope. So what does that include?
Pretty much anything you put on your skin and
Anything you put on your skin.
hair and your hair, anything you do. Like the average woman, I think they say, is they put on, before we leave the house in the morning, we put on about 13 to 17 different personal care products, from deodorant, toothpaste, hairspray, makeup, lotions. It's, everything.
Soap, like
So,
shampoo
yep,
and body wash. So anything we use. So personal care is basically like hygiene and
right,
grooming.
right.
Okay, so just to help us educate, like would sunscreen fall in that category too? Like,
Yes, it
yeah,
does.
so anything like lotion. So I was just in Walmart Saturday, yeah, and like the personal care products section was huge. I was looking for floss and toothpaste and a face wash to take to the gym, and aisle and aisle and aisle and aisle of it. So that's amazing that it's not regulated very closely. Um, so Beautycounter got involved. So tell us what advantages you see from using Beautycounter yourself and some of your customers.
Well, it's not only safer, it's high performing. So I see results as far as my skin, looking better. I feel better, because I'm not putting harmful chemicals on my skin, because whatever you put on your skin, like you mentioned, goes into your bloodstream. And so I feel confident that, not all companies have to list their every ingredient, and Beautycounter is very transparent, so I feel confident and safe knowing that I'm, doing good for my body
Mm-hmm.
and my health.
Well, and you and I have talked in the past offline about some of the issues with like endocrine system things, so like hormonal issues related to the personal care products. So educate us a little bit about that.
Well, basically, your endocrine system can be disrupted by personal care products. There's chemicals in the products that you use on a daily basis that can disrupt your endocrine system. And your endocrine system basically controls your mood, your metabolism, libido, hormones, your body temperature. So, yeah, so you think about that, and yeah, it can make you feel, you can feel, especially women my age that are going through the change, and your hormones are all over the place, when you're not adding in other, products that are disrupting those hormones, it does make a difference.
So this would be relevant for anyone who's experiencing any kind of hormonal issues. It's something that, of course, they're going to be doing their blood work and their medical appointments, but it's something they need to be looking into to see if their personal care products are actually contributing to part of the problem. So it could be like a fertility issue,
Exactly.
right? Or a menopausal issue, or I'm even thinking, I mean, the two biggest, not biggest, but the two hormones that I hear people talk about a lot with regard to weight is our cortisol and insulin. And so even that could be disrupted by, well, so tell us about, like, what are some of the things, so we'll talk more about Beautycounter in a minute, but like if I go to Walmart and I'm walking down the aisle and I'm picking up products, I actually was looking for a new deodorant and I was reading the label and it's basically chemistry. Like, I don't know what those things are. So what should we be looking out for on labels?
Well, there's an app that you can download on your phone. It's called the Healthy Living app. It's put out by the EWG Environmental Working Group, and it's the free app, and you can actually scan barcodes.
I forgot about that. I should have done that.
Or you can put in the name of the product, and it'll give you a rating from 1 to 10 as far as safety. The other thing is just you can educate yourself, and I know there's so many chemicals out there, but the one thing I tell people to watch out for a lot are parabens, because parabens have actually been found in cancerous breast tissue. Also, fragrance. Fragrance is a huge one because fragrances are proprietary or trade secrets. Companies are allowed to keep the ingredients that make up that fragrance a secret, or they don't have to list all the ingredients. So under that one word fragrance, there can be thousands of dangerous chemicals that they're hiding.
Wow.
So anything that's just fragrance, don't buy it.
So, but I mean, I guess there probably are some healthy natural products that have some scent to them.
Right.
But it would be
an essential oil is fine, but if
it would be listed. It would be listed.
It would be listed. Right.
It wouldn't just say, in other words, the word fragrance is kind of a cover up.
Right, exactly.
Or could be.
Could be
cover up, yeah. So you mentioned the FDA is not really involved. Like, when we talk about food, and I dug deep into this, looking at what's on the front of the label versus the ingredient list, and that they can put natural on the front, and it does have a legal meaning. So are there any terms like that besides fragrance that either say, yeah, this is actually a legit term and a legit label, or nah, this one doesn't really mean anything?
Well, chemical free doesn't mean anything because water is a chemical. Natural doesn't mean anything, and most products that are on a store shelf, there's no way they're 100% natural. So if you see like 100% natural, I would just investigate, because if they're on a store shelf, they're going to have a preservative. And there are different preservatives, and there's some preservatives that are better than others. But yeah, and then organic doesn't mean anything either. It's basically greenwashing. They're just marketing terms that are used by companies to make you feel a false sense of security, unfortunately. So.
Well, tell us more about Beautycounter, because you and I have talked again, kind of before we had this interview, we talked about how to evaluate, besides reading the label, how to evaluate a personal care products company to see if they are legit. So tell us about some of the standards that Beautycounter has met that we might also put other companies to that standard as well.
There isn't anybody doing what Beautycounter does. We advocate for better health protective laws. We actually go to Washington. We have an advocacy team that goes there on a regular basis. So we're fighting for change within the industry that we're in, which is very, very unheard of, because most companies want to just fly under the radar and not make changes and everything be status quo. But Beautycounter, we want everybody to do better, or basically do what we're doing. We also test rigorously all of our products. Not a lot of people realize, but heavy metals are big in a lot skincare and makeup, and a lot of companies don't test. And Beautycounter tests numerous times through the process of the product. We are also a B Corp, which a lot of people don't even know what a B Corp is. It's a really hard certification.
What is the B Corp?
B means benefit, and that means that we consider people, planet, and profits equally when we're running the business. So it's everything from the way we source our ingredients to the packaging to even the copy paper they use in the offices. So
wow.
So we're so we're really conscious of the environmental footprint that we're leaving. So that's just a few things, and then we educate. We're trying to educate people because I think only like less than 20% of people realize that what they're putting on their skin is dangerous. And then, of course, we formulate safer, high-performing products.
That's really helpful what you said about the B Corp, and it made me think about that just last week or week before, I heard on NPR that there was some, I don't remember the name, but it was one of the big finance investment companies. And they were saying, we have to invest in companies based on climate change. We have to invest in companies that are being smart with that, not just ethically, but like for business sense. So I'm glad to know that there's some leaders out there. So, I think we all have a cabinet full of stuff. Like when I first met you, actually, I think right after I met you, I pulled everything out, all my personal care products, and they were filling the kitchen table, because you don't even realize all the little things, to the chapstick, to this and that. And I read all the labels, and I looked them up on the app that you recommended, and I looked up the words isopropyl, blah, 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 and threw out maybe half and kept some. So, and I've been gradually, as I'm investing, gradually shifting to some higher quality products with you and a couple other vendors that I use. But if we had to choose top priority, let's say, you have a cabinet full of stuff, you're not ready to throw everything out yet, and maybe you have some favorites. When you think about what's the top most important products that we should shift first if we're going to upgrade and spend a little bit, maybe a little bit more money on a better product for our health and for the planet?
Definitely whatever you use on the largest surface of your body. So I would say body lotion, a body wash, because when you're in the shower, your pores are open, you absorb toxins through your feet. So your body wash or soap is big. Shampoo, that kind of stuff. Just whatever you put all over your body. Think about what you put all over your body.
Well, that's really helpful, because it's funny, I actually chose, more for my face, right? The top priority, because I'm for the ego, I want my face to look best, but that makes a lot of sense. That's only there's this much eye cream, but I'm your whole body is in the shower. And I do use a natural soap in the shower, so that's good.
Well, that's good.
So, well, this has been super helpful. And what we'll do is we'll link below the video, and in the blog post, we'll link to Beautycounter, and we'll link to those apps for looking up the products on the go in the store. And thank you for doing your work. Thank you for educating us.
Thank you, Joan. I appreciate you taking
Yeah.